Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America. And Donald Trump kind of got some revenge on Joe Biden, but it was via a federal judge that he appointed who laid the absolute smackdown on Biden and his administration on Independence Day, no less, with a massive victory for free speech. Before we get started, folks, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. So, this federal judge appointed by former President Trump, he had a case before him about how social media companies were interfered with by the administration during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this case was brought by the state of Louisiana, but it has national implications. The judge ruled that the Biden administration could not interfere anymore with social media companies, could not flag posts for them to review. He said that it could only be done on matters of a possible terrorist attack or some kind of foreign interference or like national emergency, and that COVID did not meet that criteria. What he said was the government actually went to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth type scenario where it decided what was free speech and what was not, what was allowed to be said and what was not. Now, the government argues that it did everything by the book, and of course, the social media companies made the final decision about what was and what wasn't banned. But it appears they were under enormous pressure. However, there was something really interesting in the judge's decision that I'm going to get to right after this video I want to show you of CNN absolutely freaking out about the decision.
Censorship.
Now, in his ruling, the Trump-appointed judge writes, quote, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the United States government seems to have assumed a role similar to an Orwellian Ministry of Truth. Really subtle there. Let's bring in CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig, CNN political commentator and political anchor for Spectrum News, Errol Lewis. Vanessa, I want to start with you. This was stunning yesterday. I know talking to Biden administration officials, they were very surprised, particularly by the scale of the ruling and what it actually means. What more do we know?
It essentially is banning key government agencies, including the Department of Health and Human Services, the FBI, the Justice Department, the CDC, and about 12 key administration officials, including the White House press secretary and the U.S. Surgeon General, from communicating with social media companies, which include Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Google, Instagram, over concerns that this judge has about the communications that they've had related to the pandemic. Now, this goes back to a 2022 lawsuit that was filed by two state attorneys generals from Missouri and from Louisiana, who say that the Biden administration overstepped in their communication to these social media companies, specifically around key issues like election integrity, vaccine misinformation, and security of voting by mail. Now, this judge is essentially saying that there is enough evidence to say that there is concern about the communications. The White House, on the other hand, saying that they believe that they acted in the best interest of the country. They believe that it is the responsibility of these social media companies to police their own content online. But ultimately, the social media companies need to make their own independent decisions about that content. Now, Judge Doty, he is a Trump appointee. He is yet to rule on this case. But this basically is a big win for these states that are suing the Biden administration over what they consider violations of First Amendment rights and in the communications that they had with these big social media companies who have a lot of power and essentially raising concerns about what those communications looked like.
Now, what he said that was really telling was that social media companies, via the government, the posts that were flagged to them, typically shared conservative viewpoints. Actually, what he said was every single instance was people sharing conservative viewpoints. So he said that was very, quote, telling. So he's making a political statement here, too, which I think has some people in the media and in the administration upset. Now, the Biden administration has responded by saying that it's going to have the Justice Department review the ruling and then consider next steps. I believe, of course, it's going to be appealed, right? And I think it could go all the way to the Supreme Court, and then we'll have a real ruling about free speech on social media, and that could be groundbreaking. Folks, again, I really want your comments on this. I really want your comments on this. Do you believe that conservatives have been unfairly targeted? Do you believe the government's just doing its job? Let me know in the comments. Please also like, share, and subscribe. Those things really help us out, and we really do appreciate them. Again, I'm Carmine Sabia, and this is Explain America. We love you guys. God bless you. Take care, everybody.